Hey everybody, this is Brett, and today we're going to talk about natural inflammation remedies. And the first thing that a lot of people will run to is this, some kind of an OTC, an over-the-counter medicine. Aspirin that's going to upset their stomach, ibuprofen that's going to mess with their livers, and that's not the best option in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to show you some fast and effective, like super effective, and easy ways for you to decrease heat. Okay, so heat is what has been created by you doing something repetitiously or for too long. That's gotten too much blood in that area, it's created too much lactic acid in that area, and so it's gotten swollen and painful and it hurts. And so if it's in your extremities, if it's in a hand or a foot or a leg or an arm, there you go. How long did that take? This water is cold. It's the end of December right now, and if you leave that in there for very long, it'll be frozen damn near. But I'm telling you, talking about effective, that is some majorly effective cooling down going on right there. Okay, you can fill a bucket. You can fill a bucket full of really cold water too. And that just, it's hitting the nail on the head so well by doing that it won't take long before something like that is cooled right down. Now, if it's not on an extremity, you can't really do that on your head too. You could, but it might not be that comfortable. Ice pads. It's so important to have one of these ice packs, or at least two probably, in your freezer. Here's a block one. And keep those in your freezer all the time. This one's got clay, natural clay in it. And I like that idea because it's not going to leak all over the place if this plastic gets perforated. Okay? And people will always ask me, how long do I put it on there? And the answer is, in the beginning, you won't be able to put something like that or hold your hand under the cold water for very long, because especially if it's got inflammation, it's going to be really sensitive, and maybe just 5 or 10 minutes to start. But another hour or two later, you'll be able to do it again, and you'll be able to handle it longer. And then the following time longer, and then you get up to, after you've done it 4 or 5 times, you'll be totally comfortable with doing it for like maybe even an hour. And the longer that you can do it, the better the results that you'll get. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use the ice pads. And this is not really difficult, but what you need to do is lay your ice pad out on your bed. Actually, the floor is going to be a lot firmer. If it's in your low back, like what I'm going to show you right now, then build it up with a couple of ice pads so that it fills the gap. And then lay on it with a shirt to start. Whoa! Hallelujah! It's still really, really cold. That's perfect for a swollen low back. And God knows, I have had that happen with me so many times. I have done this with these pads many a time. Okay. Okay, so now I'm used to that fairly well, and I'll let it sit there for a few minutes. And then when I'm ready, I'll pull the shirt up. And yes, it's really, really cold. But that's exactly what swollen back needs. Okay, now, as an alternative to using a shirt in between the pad and your skin, you got these covers for your pads that you can use, and that's fine too. And these usually have these bands that you can wrap around your body. But for me, usually I like to be able to lay down. Like I said, rest is really important. And then you can just let the weight of your body compress the pad onto your body instead of trying to like hold it on there. And sometimes it's really good like to just meander one of your body, whatever body part is swollen, onto that area like this. Like recently I had a swollen jaw because I was massaging some knots in my jaw. Just lay on that and let it sit there and hold enough weight back so that it doesn't hurt too much. Okay? And some of these bigger ones, like if you put one thing that comes in handy is like for a shoulder, these work good. You can put one of these on the pad and then you use this the Velcro to wrap around the shoulder area, and that works pretty good. Okay? So there's that for you. And then after the inflammation has gone down, then you can start putting some kind of like a coconut oil on there and massaging it. Don't start to massage until the inflammation has gone down, because see, massage creates more heat. Action creates heat. Okay, so people always ask me, shall I put heat on it? No! If you've got inflammation, don't put heat yet. Let it cool down first. Use the brain. Okay, so in massage school they taught us about RICE. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Now, elevation is good because if you get, like, say, a foot up in the air, then there's going to be less blood flowing to that area. And the blood flowing to that area is creating heat. So if you've got less of that, then it's going to cool it down better. Okay, so that you can't always do. Elevate parts of your body, that, like your torso. You can't always do that very well. In any case, rest is pretty obvious. And not everybody can just rest though, but you've got to do that. If you're pressed to do something and you can't rest, it very well might make your inflammation worse. So sometimes it's better to just be honest with a boss or whoever and tell them, hey, I've got this problem and I need a day or two off. And it's just important. Compression, I can't tell you that I've really done that much compression other than putting the ice pads on and allowing the weight of those to do that. Compression for inflammation, I just haven't felt as though that was a big thing, though you may try it and mess around. So I hope that this helps you for avoiding unnecessary medical and unnatural and toxic substances that really aren't necessary for getting rid of inflammation. Thanks for joining me.